Hold on. Nana, 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 nana. It's not every day that you're going to see me wear a dress. So that being said, today is a very, very special day. And today we're going to have a very, very special conversation with a beautiful human being. Happy Sunday. I don't know about you, but I got my coffee in check. And I know that some of you guys who are here with us live, you're hopping in either from Facebook or YouTube. Look at her. Oh, you're so sweet. And today we're going to be talking about the commonalities between discipline and wearing a dress. And you're probably like, what the heck? So I figured the best way to embody it is not by telling you, it's by showing you. And the best part is that we've got a very special guest with us here today. For those of you guys who are a part of the ES Army, this person is also in the ES Army, and I'm having the absolute pleasure and also the best time of my life doing weird things like wearing dresses with this person. Some of you guys, you've grown with her, so you know who she is. She's a pharmacist by nature, and because you guys know that I like to live the clean life, I like to call her my drug dealer because it's just really, really funny. By the way, if you're joining us live, I'd love to know from you, where are you located? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. What state are you from? Where are you representing? And let me bring on to the stage my very dear friend and my partner in this mission of justice.
Yeah, woo! In the house.
So good. Julie, where are you from, by the way?
I am from Kingsport, Tennessee, and probably nobody knows where that is. So it's east of Knoxville, right at the corner on the Virginia, North Carolina border.
Do they make bourbon there? Jellystone.
No, that's in
Julie.
Kentucky. Jellystone Julie.
Okay, so there's gonna be a story. Like you got drug dealer, you got Jellystone. What's the story there?
You know, I have a lot of names, quite frankly. Jellystone Julie. We were at the Zone event. Is that Will saying Jellystone Julie?
Let me see. Jellystone Julie. Where? Derek.
Oh, Derek. Oh, that's Deb Kramer. She when we were at the Zone event, Will was talking. We were talking about Bullwinkle, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and he thought it was Jellystone, and I'm like, Will, that's Yogi Bear. That's not Rocky and Bullwinkle. And so he started calling me Jellystone Julie.
Love it. Okay, so just shouting you guys out in the chat. We've got Washington, West Coast crew. Oh, Deb Kramer. Well, Deb, it says Derek Kramer. We've got Buffalo. That's got to be Buffalo, New York. We've got North Carolina in the house. We've got Colorado, Pennsylvania, Ohio. By the way, Julie, there's a shit ton of background noise in Ohio.
Okay, hold on a second.
Ohio, Colorado, Washington State is killing it. South Dakota. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. Really, the intention of today's live is to add value to you, to connect with you, and we are both Julie and I were walking into a season where we're committed to up-leveling our leadership. And with that, we are going to embody to you by just sharing with you real life stories of some of the teachings that have been provided to us as a symbol of gratitude for leadership, about some of the distinctions of leadership that we've had to stretch ourselves into. So, of course, because this is all about you, my question to you guys is, so here's the thing. In society, we're all leaders. And the problem is that most people are reverse leaders. And I do believe that true impactful leadership takes takes consciousness. So my first question for those of you guys who are here with us in the chat is, who are you a leader of in your life? Because whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you recognize it or not, you are a leader. So who are the people in your life that you touch each and every single day? And please go ahead and drop it in the chat. So Julie, like for you, I'd love to know, like, who are you a leader of?
I am a leader of my kids. And I'm a leader of a lot of kids that my daughter dances with, actually, to be honest with you. It's they always call me like their mom at dance and stuff. So what I bring into that room as just a mother is also who I get to be and lead those kids, you know, and help them grow, all of them, as well as the other parents in the studio as well.
Yeah.
So that's a huge, huge group of people that I'm constantly enrolled with on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there anyone else, Julie?
A leader of myself. I get to be in my own leadership, and I've at times let other people do that for me and been the follower of, even of myself, from other people's perspective. And now I get to be that person for myself, which is huge. And I've getting to be a leader of the community, right? Stepping out and stepping into different arenas and working with different people. You get to be the leader of anybody you actually interact with, to be quite frank.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for dropping who are you leading in the chat. And thank you for your consciousness in your leadership. So can I share with you guys my leadership and who am I a leader towards? So first and foremost, yes. Do I have a yes?
Yes.
Go ahead and drop a yes in the chat. So real quick, and Julie, let's kind of like intertwine this. Like, okay. My consciousness of my leadership journey began after like over a decade of disordered eating patterns. And some of you guys know the story with my dad. In the case that you don't, I'll just share it with you real quick. I used to struggle with a lot of disordered eating patterns for a really long time, jumping from one diet to the next. Reason being is because I wanted to fit in, because that's what we've all been taught. And if you've ever found yourself wanting to fit in, I'd love to know from you, like, in what ways did you want to fit in? So what ended up happening is I bounced from one diet to the next, and the weight just kept creeping up until one day, it was June 22nd, 2012, the day that changed my life. It was the scariest day of my life. I got a call from my mom. My dad got a heart attack, and we didn't know if he was going to make it. And that day, number one, I had to step up as a leader for my family because I'm the older sibling. And if anything, I am responsible. And secondly, seeing him getting reeled in to the hospital, while I experienced a lot of gratitude, I also had the aw shit moment. The aw shit moment of, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. And in order for things to change, I need to change. So this is when I actually took responsibility from trying to do like fat loss pills, diets, whatever thing it may be, thinking that the solution is outside of me, to actually taking matter into my own hands. And I told myself this, I'm like, dude, in order for things to change, you need to change. So I made a commitment, and I told God, I'm like, God, if you show me the way, I will spend the rest of my life to teach others to do the same thing as well. So this is when my consciousness of my leadership began at the age of 22. Julie, what about you?
Honestly, the biggest shift even occurred maybe 18 months ago. I spent my entire life living up to other people's expectations and never being a leader, doing what I was told to do, and doing it well, but still doing what I was told to do. So
Yeah.
I got kind of an aha moment about 18 months ago, and was like, why am I letting other people create my expectations for myself when I get to do that? So in order to do that, I got to step up and realize that I'm the one in charge and of me, and I get to step up and be the leader.
Yeah. Yeah. So I see you guys dropping answers in the chat. I asked them, at what age did your consciousness of leadership connect? My fault, connect with you. So I see Rose, you said 15. The rest of you guys, go ahead and drop it in the chat. So Julie, for you, it was 18 months ago.
Yeah. 48
Okay.
years old.
48 years old. So you're almost at the big 50. Tammy says the consciousness connected at 12, but living into the fullest of what truly means has taken a lifetime. Love it. My kids, women in recovery, seeking to find healing and freedom from their addictions. 1636. That's fantastic. Fantastic. After HCL 49, I'm 66. I love it. So here's the deal, you guys. It doesn't matter whether you're 16 or 66. Like, leadership is for you. And I do believe that leadership is the answer for all things. So today we're going to share with you a little bit of what we've learned over this past weekend about some of the key distinctions of leadership and how we have stepped into it in our lives. And as we share our stories with you, my encouragement to you is seek within and ask yourself, okay, like where did I practice that in my life? What was the result of it? And also, where is the gap? Where is the gap between where I want to go and where I am now? So, Julie, I know I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, but before that, just so we can add as much value to the audience, you guys, my question for you is, because leadership determines what results you want to create. And we can share with you our stories and give you tactics all day, but ultimately, first, in order for us to help you, we got to know what you want. So my question to you is, like, fast forward, end of 2024, like, what do you want to create in your perfect world that will help you to feel content and proud of how you show up as a global citizen and as a leader in this world? So yeah, Julie, what about you? Like, what do you get to step into this year that you want to accomplish in order for you to feel proud of what you've accomplished as a leader and a global citizen?
I have spent most of my life being quiet, allowing other people to speak for me, or just being the follower and the listener. And I get to step into my voice. Really, it's been a really quiet ride for me, and it's not serving me. And in order to be able to speak my truth and what I need to be told, I get to stand up and walk out and say all of the words that I need to say, regardless of the people pleasing tendencies that I've had for my entire life, and realize that it's not about necessarily how people emotionally receive it, but how I get to speak my truth for once and for all.
Speak my truth for once and for all. So real quick, just going to share some of the things that you guys are sharing in the chat of what do you want to create by the end of 2024. Happiness, true job with everything I do. I want my kids to know happiness is a choice. With that choice, they can live amazing lives. Getting snatched, but seriously, taking my health to the next level to prepare my body for the future. Babies, photo shoots. I want to create the most exceptional health and fitness I've known in a decade in order to live and do the things I deeply desire for myself and others. I love it. So my question for you is, what does that look like for all of you? What does that look like? Just to help you to dig a little deeper. And Julie, so we're gonna share with the audience some of the distinctions of leadership. So why don't you begin by sharing with us, like, what were the things that you had to stretch yourself into in order to create your new reality, and in order for you to create whatever it is that you are looking to create by the end of this year and beyond?
I had to realize that my voice is powerful, and when I do open it, people listen. And I've never really done that for fear of mental, physical, emotional retribution in some manner or another. And realizing that I get to do that on the regular basis and speak up and say all the things I want to say, and get to say, regardless of what other people feel about that, I am my voice, and I get to stand up and use it. And that is extremely powerful. And when I do use it, people will listen. And
Yeah.
my perspective is important, and I get to give it.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, Julie, is that you've had to shift your relationship with fear.
Yeah, 100%. Fear of
Okay.
rejection, fear of judgment.
Is there anything else?
Fear of retribution,
What is retribution to someone who English is a second language?
fear of people retaliating in some way against me, for using my words.
Yeah.
And that's happened, many times. And I'm at a point where I get to not worry about that anymore, right?
Yeah.
Not be in fear of what that looks like, and say all the words that are meaningful to me, and realize that a lot of times you retaliating towards me is actually a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys, for those of you who are here with us live, go ahead and drop fear in the chat. If you ever recollect a time where fear stopped you from taking yourself to the next level. I share this with you because one of the distinctions to leadership is the courage to look fear in the eye and squash it, which manifests in the form of the willingness to take risks. Yeah, we all have. As a matter of fact, Napoleon Hill talks about the six greatest fears, and that is fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of loss of a loved one, fear of ill health, fear of death, and fear of loss of liberty. So, as I shared this with you guys, which of those fears would you say is the most distinct one in your life? Julie, it sounds to me, just based on what you've shared, that fear of criticism is probably your biggest fear.
Absolutely, 100%.
So
100%.
were you a little bit uncomfortable stepping into this stage right now?
No, oddly enough, I wasn't. This specific stage, I feel very comfortable, you and I having this conversation about these things. If you would have asked me 2 months, 3 months ago, I'd have been terrified, absolutely terrified.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Kim O'Connor dropped fear of criticism. Fear of criticism is a really, really big one. So, Julie, what were some of the things that you've done? What experiences did you take yourself on in order to overcome your fear of criticism?
There was a lot of self-reflection about who are you speaking to when you're speaking to me? Are you speaking to me? Or are you reflecting back on your hurt and your own pain that doesn't really have anything to do with me, but I happen to be the recipient of your words? I've done a lot of pacing around the room before I've had conversations, grounding and
Do you go side to side, or do you go diagonal, or do you go in circles?
oh no, it's more of a circle.
It's a circular chick. Okay, got that.
I'm a circular. Yeah, I circle, and I get to pacing and go, am our words right? Am my words right? Are my words right? It was me trying to land a point of whatever I was talking about, making sure it would be understood.
Yeah.
So that the criticism might not be there, and they might understand my words versus me just saying what was on my heart. I was really, really, really in my head about having conversations with people.
Okay. Can you? So we're talking about looking at fear in the face. We're talking about the willingness to take risks. We're talking about the different basic fears. So talk to me about a time when you had a fear of criticism and you looked at it right in the eye and you had the courage to step into it and take a risk. Share with us that experience and what happened on the other side.
Perfect example is actually telling my husband that I was not ready to be in that relationship anymore. I spent way too many years being afraid of that conversation for the fear of the criticism and all of the words that I might hear on the receiving end of that. And as of last summer, I'm like, this has got to happen, right? It came to a point where I was so uncomfortable in being in that situation.
You got comfortable. Okay. I want to highlight that.
For a long time.
Okay. Got it.
That I was like, I like physically felt like such a heaviness that I could not be in that anymore. So after my pacing around the room and all of the things, I had the conversation, and it oddly enough went better than I expected. So actually on the other side of that was not the shrinking and what I was expecting to happen in that moment, but I don't say that it was understanding or complete willingness to listen on his part, but it was not as horrible as I thought it would be.
Okay. Yeah. Share with us the most recent experience when you've taken a risk.
So, my business partner, Corey, and I have started an entrepreneurial business, which is way different than anything I've ever done in my life. And I've been a pharmacist for 25 years. And we had a discussions about, when do we get to like jump off that cliff and just do this full time? And I was so worried about the mechanics of income and all of the things that in actuality don't matter as much as having the vision and being able to step out into what it is you actually want. And I actually quit my job 3 weeks ago as a pharmacist. I literally laid it down and said, I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
I know, right?
So is there anything else? Is that the most recent risk you've taken?
That's probably the biggest,
like
most recent.
Big.
That is a huge. Yeah, that was huge. It was only been 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's really starting to set in now because I've gotten my last paycheck.
Yeah. So like, what does that make you experience?
It creates there's excitement, and there's also anxiety to a degree, and I get to choose which it is, because they're the same emotion, right? I mean, they're the same feeling in your body, and the anxiety is there to a degree, but I also know that I trust what we're doing, and I trust the vision that we have, and I am, 100% willing to choose excitement in that moment.
So what I'm hearing you say is that when you have a vision that is bigger than your fears, then the willingness to take risks seems small.
Yeah.
Smaller than the vision itself.
Smaller. Yeah. When I know that what we are doing has the potential to change so many lives and create a different world, that risk of stepping out of something that I really never aligned with becomes a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And worth it.
Yeah. So my question for you guys, because I don't know what you're personally walking through in your life right now, and maybe as you're watching this, there is something that you want to create in your life that you've been hesitant on, or you've been held back probably because of some uncertainty, anxiety, fear, anything along these lines. So my question for you, as we're having this conversation, is, did you paint a picture and a vision that is big enough in order to propel you past your fears? And if not, then how could you expand that picture so that that fear seems smaller than the picture itself and it makes it worthwhile?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to add with regards to that distinction before we move?
The risk, I've always been taught to look at the risk benefit ratio. And the benefit of what we're doing is so much more than the risk. It's not I knew it had to be done. It was that much of a benefit to those that we can serve. And taking the risk was 100% worth the benefit that's going to come out of this.
Yeah. I love it. Tammy Bell says, urgency and willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I challenge the viewers to get outside of your comfort zone. Share this video with one person in your circle. Yeah. Growth happens when you step outside of your comfort zone. So I know we're heading into a brand new week tomorrow. So my question for you is, if based on the vision that you want to create, and based on whatever you have coming up this week, what is one thing that you can do? Maybe it's with your nutrition. Maybe it's with your training. Maybe it's with your career. Maybe it's with your marriage. Maybe it's with your kids. What is one thing that you could do in order to get outside of your comfort zone? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Can I share a story?
Go for
it. And Julie, by the way, if at any given point in time you're like, oh, I want to ask you questions, feel free to do so.
Okay.
We're literally like winging it, by the way.
We are.
For those of you guys who have been a part of VS, that's how we roll.
And this is also, winging it is also out of my comfort zone. So it's great. It's fantastic.
So good. So over the last 24 hours that I took a risk, and I took quite a bit of risks. And the biggest risk that I've taken is, I actually want to share this with you guys. So I got to go get this thing. So one of the risks that I've taken is two areas. While I have taken a lot of risks in my life, coming to this country as an immigrant all by myself, not knowing anyone, not having any money whatsoever, learning English as a second language. Also, I'll tell you guys, growing up in a traditional Jewish home, like my first big act of courage happened when I was 19 years old, and I came out of the closet to my mom. Because and I knew that it might upset her, because when you grew up in a Jewish home, there is an expectation. And I was like, I gotta be authentically me no matter what. So I'm like, I gotta do this for myself. Otherwise, I live the rest of my life living a lie, and I can't pretend. It just doesn't feel right for me. So that was the first big risk that I've taken. And then, of course, coming to this country, not like with no one knowing who I was. And since then, it's just really standing for my truth. It came about, Julie, the commonality of, I went to school for this thing and that thing. I was on the pre-med track, and, wanted to do what I was told would make me be good, right? Based on social patterns. And then I ended up choosing my truth. And my truth was to help to get people outside of the sick bed, because I do believe that the healthcare system in America is more of a sick care model. So I wanted to help people to get outside of that bed so that they can truly have the freedom and the confidence to create their best life, because our body is the only home that we have to live in. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what neighborhood you live in. Like, if your throat hurts, you're not enjoying what you got. If you stabbed your toe, you could be having the nicest meal in the world, and guess what? All you're thinking about is how much your toe hurts. And I'm talking about bigger things than that, because of course, chronic conditions are on the rise. Obesity is on the rise. Childhood diabetes is on the rise, you guys. It's fucking wild. But then choosing the path of being an entrepreneur. No one in my family is an entrepreneur. So just like defeating all odds. Obviously being married to Aaron, and, moving from one place to another. And the most recent risk that I've taken was writing a speech about what's really on my heart, on what I see happening in society. Are you guys okay with me reading it to you? So in this risk, I was asked to go to strangers who don't know me. By the way, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Like, you've been here with us for 34 minutes. Like, your time is, and your attention is your most valuable asset. Money depreciates every single day. Like, your time is your most valuable asset. So I wanted to share with you what's on my heart. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of profound experiences, like the risk of walking up to Deb. I see you're here. Like, you're a friend. I walked up to you. And then also walking up to people that I've never met before in crowds, and creating connection with them, and reading my truth. So I share this with you because what's coming up for me is that society is really disconnected in today's day and age. So I was being courageous and bold to speak my truth, and to look at people in the eye who told me no, and to lead with boldness, so that hopefully I'll be able to create a form of vulnerability and connection. And I've had all sorts of really just enlightening responses, anywhere from thank you for sharing this, to no, I don't want to listen to you, to okay, I will listen to you, but I don't really care. So I share this with you because ultimately what's coming up for me is that when your desire to step into whatever that thing is, whether it's dropping, 10 pounds, deadlifting 300 pounds, creating peace in the Middle East or whatever it may be, as long as the burning desire is greater than the fear itself, you will get resourceful enough to continue to shift yourself and create whatever it is that you want to create. So thank you for giving me the space to read that. I want to read that with you. I want to read that to you. And then I'd love to know, like, if you're here, I ask people to give me their votes if they're like agreeing with my message. So if you agree with this message, like, just go ahead and drop agree. If you disagree, then drop disagree too. We all have a different viewpoint, and I just appreciate you taking the time and space to listen to it. So, okay, here it goes. Julie, drum roll. Really?
Did you not hear it?
No.
I did.
Oh, okay. All I heard is one tap. I'm like, geez, buddy, that's all I get? Me taking a risk. Okay, so dear neighbor and fellow American citizen, today I stand before you as a woman, a citizen of this great nation, and a believer in America and what it stands for, to bring you hope, empowerment, and courage to embrace the true gift of freedom. In a fabric of our society, threads of injustice still linger, woven deep into the tapestry of our history. But let me tell you this: the dawn of a new era is upon us, a time when we rise above the shadows of division and strife and embrace the light of unity and progress. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Let us be the bearers of that light, the champions of love and understanding as we march forward on the paths towards justice. But hope alone is not enough. We must also have the courage to confront the injustices that still plague our society. As Brene Brown reminds us, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. Let us show up for each other, let us stand up for what is right, and let us speak out against oppression and inequality wherever we find it. And finally, let us embrace the spirit of resilience, the unwavering determination to persevere in the face of adversity. As Andy Frisella said, your mind will quit 1,000 times before your body ever will. Feel the fear and do it anyways. Let us feel the fear, acknowledge it, and then press forward with courage and conviction. My fellow Americans, neighbors, and friends, the road ahead may be long and challenging, but I have faith in our collective strength, our boundless potential, and our shared hope. As we aspire towards peace and unity in our nation, let us not overlook the profound impact we can make within the walls of our own homes. Today, I urge each one of you to take a simple yet powerful action step towards fostering harmony and understanding in your families. Reach out to a loved one, perhaps someone with whom you've had disagreements or misunderstandings. Engage in open and honest dialogue, listening with empathy and compassion. Seek to understand their perspective, even if it differs from your own. Embrace the discomfort of vulnerability, knowing that it is through a genuine connection that true healing begins. Let us commit to building bridges instead of walls, to extending grace instead of judgment. For in the sanctuary of our homes, we have the opportunity to model the values of peace, respect, and love that we wish to see reflected in the world around us. Together, let us take this small yet significant step towards creating a more peaceful and united America, one conversation at a time. If you're aligned with this message of empowerment, unity, and peace, may I ask that I wrote here, sign this petition, or drop in the chat, I agree, and do unto others what you'd like to be done to you, whether it be a friend, a brother, or a stranger. Brothers and sisters, change starts with you. Change starts today. With love, hope, and determination. Your friend Sarit. So in the chat, if you're aligned with this message, go ahead and drop I agree. Or Murica.
America.
Or peace. Peace. You know, like, man, you guys, like, there's so much conflict in the world. And the reason why I chose to write this is because, above all, I believe that there is lack of awareness of leadership, and therefore there is lack of responsibility, because leadership is about, I am responsible, being it, so that we can do whatever it is that we are set out to do to make a difference, whether it's like you guys said, whether it's within your household, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in whatever role that you play in your life. So I would like to encourage you, before we wrap this up, Julie, is there anything you want to say?
No, I think that everybody gets to be the leaders of themselves. And by doing that and stepping into your power of you, it allows you to much easier see what's laid out before you and where you get to go and all of the risks that you get to take to make that happen for yourself. It's not about anybody doing it for you. It's not about you doing it for somebody else. It's about you doing it for you and stepping into your true, authentic being.
Yeah. 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 So you guys, if you feel it in your heart, my ask of you is, please go ahead and share this message with someone else. Like, post it on your Facebook, post it on your social media, obviously, like, or I don't know, maybe you can just reach out to someone and, you know, just clear the space with them. The whole purpose of this video is to just share with you and empower you, because it doesn't matter where you've come from, what you've been through, you're a leader. And maybe someone has told you something recently, but this is about reminding you that you have the power. And should you feel responsible for sharing this responsibility, just take this message and pass it forward. And for any of you guys who are also interested in taking your leadership to the next level, both Julie and I are happy to share with you a little bit of the journey that we've been on. I started taking this series of courses of leadership development by Hardcore Leadership, that's the name of the company, a little bit over a year ago. And I'll tell you, it's been immense, essential, and it helped me to stand strong in all of the breakdowns and uncertainty that happen in life and as we grow. And if I may leave you with one thing, is that remember, fear is not to be feared. The contentment with comfort is what gets to be feared. And this is the biggest problem that we see in America. So I just want to say thank you guys for taking your time to listen to this message. And we hope you have a beautiful Sunday. And as we lead you into this new week, I would love to know, what is one thing that you're taking away from it? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. One thing that you're taking away from today's message. Julie, anything else you want to add?
I think that we get to be the change. We get to, how you show up as a leader of yourself pours out into those around you. And you can either be the leader for change, or you can be the leader for stagnancy. And how you show up creates that in other people as well. So you get to make that choice, and you get to change that for the people in your community as well as yourself.
Love it. I see some of you guys are dropping while you're taking away in the chat. Everything rises and falls in leadership. And the wise words of John Maxwell. It's true. We are the living consequences of leadership. I get to lead myself. Yep. You already are. You just get to
Yeah,
step
she
into
is.
your power, my friend. Face your fear and don't be content with the comfort I created. Yeah, powerful. Love that, Sonia. Great to see you here. Fear can help us to be the change. It doesn't need to be a setback, but a building block for us. Yes, every stumbling block is a stepping stone. The difference is your choice. I am my own leader. Thank you, Rose, for being aligned. Beautiful. Oh, here, we got a couple more coming through. Self-leadership is the most important responsibility we all have in order to make a larger impact on the world. 1000%, my friend. Great to see you here, Dorwart. Beautiful, you guys. So if you find it in your heart, feel free to share this message. I just want to say thank you so much for listening to us today. And remember, go be the change that the world needs to hear and see, because you got the power.
Yay!
If I lead myself, I can lead others. You betcha. Love you guys. You're wonderful. Julie, give me. Hold on. Wait.
There we go.
Hey.
We did it, kinda.
So good. Awesome.
We're so
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You're wonderful.